Hi, everyone. It is 4 o'clock on Wednesday. Boy, the weeks sure do fly by, don't they? Especially as we enter this holiday season of 2021 after last year's, which was a little bit more distanced. And I realized as I was preparing for today's session that I really had never introduced myself and told you a little bit about who I am and the journey that I have taken to get here over the last 18 years. So, about 18 years ago, I mentioned to my husband that I was interested in feng shui. And like any good husband, he shrugged his shoulders and said, okay. And then I took a 2 hour community education class out in the West Metro. And I was introduced to something called Black Hat Feng Shui at that 2 hour seminar. And I went home and made a few changes to my house. I thought, well, that was interesting. And then my dear husband bought me 4 books as a gift because it was around this time of year. And as I was reading through them, I thought, okay, these 2 make sense. But these 2, I don't think they could have used this information to take over all of the empires in China. So I kind of discarded the 2 books and kept reading the other 2. And then I ended up uh, taking a taking a week-long seminar, and that's when I was introduced to Western feng shui. So I studied with that practitioner, that consultant, for about 2 years. Actually, was teaching some of the lower level classes for her, and I really enjoyed it, but I still kept feeling this tug that, "Oh, I'm not sure if this is exactly what I think." I just thought there was more. So back in 2007, early 2007, I started studying with Dado Joey Yap of the Mastery Academy of Chinese Metaphysics. And it was in October of 2008 that I received my graduation papers, my graduate degrees in feng shui and destiny analysis, or Bazi. I continue to study with Dado Joey Yap. He is still based in Malaysia. So I've been over to Malaysia, China, and Singapore for my studies. Um, I continue to refine my knowledge of Qigong Dunjia, some of which I've shown during these broadcasts. And I've touched on feng shui, I've touched on destiny analysis, I've touched a tiny bit on date selection. Uh, but I also wanted to give you a little bit bigger background of the type of feng shui that I practice, because a lot of people will say, "Oh, I've read a book on that." And I think to myself, well, that's great. I wonder if it's one of the ones I started out with reading. So I want to share with you that the type of feng shui I do is not what you see in a Chinese restaurant. If you walk into a Chinese restaurant, you'll see the little waving cat by the cash register. You'll see gold ingots and maybe ships spread around the restaurant. A lot of stuff is in there, but that's a cultural thing. The red front door is a cultural piece of feng shui. And when somebody talks about a dragon and in the westernized feng shui, they think that they have to put a dragon there. Where I can tell you that as I was studying the real feng shui when I was over in China, this is just a picture I took, and you can see the dragons on top of this beautiful structure. It's a cultural thing. Dragons in feng shui actually refer to the contours of the land. So as I was studying and getting my degree, we were tested, and this is one of the projects we were tested on. We had to tell our client what was the optimal feng shui for his retail shop. And we had this model to go from, and we had to look at this model, and then we had to look at the building site. And this is actually what the building site looked like. So we spent time with that model, and we spent time looking at the building site. And can you see the mountains in the background? And where I'm standing, I'm actually across the street in a building across the street, taking a picture from up above, and there's a road right in front of here. So we're taking into account the roads and the contour of the land and how the building's going to be put on the site to tell our client which retail space was the perfect one so that they would have the best success. So that's the type of thing I do, because it's a beautiful thing when you can take a piece of land and a structure and a person and put it all together perfectly so that everything's working in harmony with the site, with the property, and with the person so that they can live the life that they want with the success that they want. Now, of course, that's not always possible because there's a lot of homes that are built, and I work with a lot of homeowners who are in existing homes and we're kind of set. Hey, we've already got the land and the structure. We can't change that, but we can change how the rooms are used inside. We can put in activations by taking into account who the person is. We can change how beds are arranged and facing, and that's how we can elevate the feng shui of a home. And it's pretty intricate when I start working with that and a homeowner. So then what exactly is Bazi? We've spent the last about 6 weeks talking a lot about day masters, about life stars, about all kinds of things like that. So at the basic level, Bazi allows us to understand our own sets of strengths and to manage our limitations because we're all put here and we have certain strengths. Sometimes you just have an affinity for something. It's like, oh my goodness, I'm really good at that and I didn't even know it. And you just have to study a little bit and elevate your skill. Other things you're just like, oh my goodness, this is really hard. And you have to work very hard to have any sort of skill level there. So that's what I mean when I say strengths and limitations. And there's also limitations with how we handle relationships, how our health is structured, and then even about our success level. So when I do a Bazi report or look at the insights that a chart tells me, I can help people understand how the choices they make can actually elevate themselves. And I've talked about fate versus destiny. And in fact, I think that's going to be my next live talk in 2 weeks is the difference between fate and destiny. Things are fated in our life, but how we make choices is what turns destiny in our favor. It's like the wind. We have a wind blowing. We can't control the wind, but we can certainly adjust our sails to get us to the right destination. And that's what I do with my clients when I do readings like that. And if you've ever been to one of those Chinese restaurants that uses paper placemats that has the zodiac on it, you actually have seen some Bazi when you're eating. So it's that life code analysis. In fact, when you look at that paper placemat, it just gives you the year animal in your chart, when in reality, we have 4 of them that affect us: the year we were born, the month we were born, the day we were born, and the hour we were born. And then every 10 years, we have another animal that comes in, and we call that a luck pillar. And that luck pillar, that animal impacts us and shows us what's the best use of that 10 years of our life. And then we get a new energy every year, and it's just starting to happen now. We're just beginning to feel the effects of the tiger, which is the year we're heading into in 2022. So pay attention to what's going on around you this month for you personally and at the global level, because it's giving you a little peek into what to expect for 2022. Now, some of you might be saying to yourself, oh my gosh, this has been a really tough month. Others might be going, yes, this is a great month. Just take a deep breath, take it easy, because it's just starting to affect us. And whenever there's that transition of November, December, of the animal switches, there's always a little turmoil no matter what the year holds in store for you. So the tools that I use, I can actually help forecast what's coming next. Now, when we say forecast, it's different than predicting. It can give predictability, but I'm not predicting anything. A forecast is changeable based on your own human action, or the actions of a government, or the actions of a boss, or an employer, or an employee, or anything. So forecasting gives the bigger picture of potential to come. And as we know potential, we can make different choices and make changes. So choices and changes eventually turn us into someone who is the right person at the right place at the right time to take advantage of the opportunities that come your way. And that's really what I want to do, and what I do for the clients I work with is I help them understand forecasting what's coming so that they can make the decisions to be in the right place at the right time to take advantage of the opportunity. So today I wanted to talk about frustration. It's one of those big emotions that we've all felt. Frustration is something that happens when we feel somewhat out of control with what's going on in our life. And I want to tell you about a little bit of research that a friend of mine, his name is Dr. Terry Wu, shared a couple weeks back with me. And as I was listening to him speak, he shared this information. Now, Terry Wu is a neuroscientist. He's got a great TED Talk. You can listen to him. I don't think he talks about this specific research study, but neuroscience is the inner workings of why humans do what we do. And in this particular experiment, the research scientists wanted to see how quickly blood pressure rose and heartbeat rose when they put subjects in a dark room and piped in loud, obnoxious music. So the first set of subjects, they just put them in their own individual rooms, darkened them, and pumped in this really loud, totally obnoxious music. And within just a matter of moments, every test subject's blood pressure rose and their heart rate rose. So when they repeated the exercise, they decided to give every test subject a button. And every test subject in this version of the test, they said, you press the button and you'll be able to control the volume of the loud, obnoxious music. So they repeated the entire study again, putting their test subjects in their individual rooms, darkening the lights, and piping in that loud, obnoxious music. Every single one of the test subjects took the button, and you can guess they pushed it. Even though the music level, the loudness, and the obnoxiousness never changed, they did not see blood pressure rising or heart rate rising because the test subjects had a sense of control. So what does that have to do with what I'm talking about? We are interesting creatures. When 2020 happened, when COVID struck, we didn't have any buttons to push, and people's anxiety levels were rising. So we developed a button to push. And yep, you guessed it. The button we started to push was we hoarded toilet paper. So this hoarding of toilet paper helped lessen the anxiety that many individuals felt when they could not control what was going on around them. Predictability is an important part of people's lives. They like to have predictability. They like to know that the sun is going to rise every morning. And if it doesn't, oh my goodness, imagine the button they would push then. So with metaphysical tools like I use, I can actually take a look and see with pretty good predictability of what's coming next. That's what I wanted to talk to you about today. What is coming next down the pipeline? Because when we are able to forecast, when we're able to see something, we can make better choices and better decisions. So back in December of 2019, at my Metal Rat Summit, I addressed that there was a big event that was going to have a global impact. Now, we weren't saying that it was COVID, but we just knew it was going to be big and it was going to affect every part of our world. At that point in December, I was preparing my clients for what to do when it did hit. Now, once COVID did come to the fruition at the level that it did, I then got back with my clientele and all of my students and participants in my summit. And I said, all right, now that it's here, now that we've identified it, know that it's not going to be over anytime soon. The 2-month or the 2-week or the 2-month lockdown isn't going to be the end of it. In fact, I was actually predicting right about now of 2021, mid-November of 2021, where we'd have any semblance of normal back in our lives. Now, it depends on what state you're in, what type of life you're living now. I've been traveling, and in some states, it's still mask mandate indoors. In my home state of Minnesota, there is not a mask mandate indoors. So it just depends on what the government action in each state is requiring. Now, the United States is different than other states in the world. Some of the states, other countries in the world are probably not going to see a return to normal until late 2022 and maybe even into 2023. But that's the type of thing that I've been talking about with my clients for predictability. So just like there are business forecasts, there are economic forecasts, and now we even have health forecasts, I'm able to forecast some things that are coming. Now we have a big shift in global energy happening right now. It actually started in 2017. So in 2017, it started ramping up. In 2020 December, we actually had the first huge shift wave come through. Now we have 3 years to wait till the final shift occurs, and we will be in what's called a period 9 energy. So period 9 energy is 20 years long. Right now we're in period 8. Period 9 starts fully in 2024, but we're already starting seeing some of the effects. So this is why things are rather up and down and for some people unpredictable. But in my realm, it is predictable what's coming. And I want to talk to you about 4 trends. There's more, which I will be sharing some of those at the summit coming up in December, and some of them at a whole period 9 workshop, because period 9 shifting affects our houses. It affects our charts, our Bazi charts. It affects us personally, as well as affecting our economy, everything globally. And when I share the trends with you, you're going to say, I'm already seeing it. So know what I'm telling you is true, that since every period lasts 20 years, most of us at most experience 4 periods in our lifetime. We usually come maybe 5. We come halfway through in one period, then our our earning years are maybe for another period and into a next period. So if you're in that middle age, 30 to 60 right now, or 30 to 55, period 9 is a big influence on you and your earning potential. So you should know what's coming. So what exactly is coming? Come on, Amy, get to the point. So here are the 4 trends that are coming on strong. And if you are strategic and entrepreneurial, pay attention to this and leverage it, because these trends are active for the next 20 years. And I'm going to talk about one of the trends that we saw coming in period 8. Now, I wasn't even studying feng shui in period 8. Or period 7, so I couldn't prepare for it. I actually started studying feng shui in period 8. So here we are at an advantage right now. So the first trend is rise of women. And you're saying, oh yeah, I've been seeing that. This actually started in 2017 with the Me Too movement. But did you know the Me Too movement actually started in the early 2000s? But the energy to support the rise of women wasn't there. Now it's here. So the rise of women means several things. Number one, we're going to see women taking over significant aspects of every part of our world. Our global economy, they're going to be leaders of companies, they're going to be on boards of directors, they're going to shatter the glass ceiling, they're going to be in every level of politics. It is a nod towards our vice president here in the United States right now, that the rise of women is alive and active, but it's only going to be more so in the next 4 to 5 years. It's going to come on very strong. So if you are a business owner, make sure you're looking at how you sell and communicate with women, because women network differently than men. Women buy differently than men. Women think differently than men. So make sure that your company is ready for the rise of women. The next trend is technology. So period 8, the period we are just shifting out of, was all about young men creating tech. Let me say that again. Period 8, young men creating tech. And boy, did they. The technology of young men creation in period 8 was astounding, but we've not seen anything yet. Period 9 is going to skyrocket, and that technology is going to permeate absolutely everything in our lives. I don't know about you, but I just heard about the new supersonic planes that they're building at NASA. And the technology they're using, they're not even going to have cockpit windows. They're going to have side windows, which are just there in case of emergency. If any one of the monitors, the 3-step phase monitors, fails, then the pilot can actually look out the side window to land the plane. So technology is going to just skyrocket. Make sure that your company is embracing technology any way it can. The paper and pen is going by the wayside. And if you resist, you are going to lose a lot of clientele. So make sure you are embracing technology where you can, at the level you can for your business. Trend number 3 is security. In period 9 is a very fiery and passionate period. So there are, in all likelihood, going to be civil wars, even grander, bigger wars, physical wars. But with the rise of technology, it also means that cyber war is of high probability. It means that our online and our personal security can no longer be left to chance. We need to make sure that we're protecting our data and our clients' data from being hacked or stolen. So if you do not have a good security system in place on your electronic files or your electronic, all of your digital records, make sure that you get something in place sooner rather than later so that you're ready for that potential. Actually, it is a trend that we see. We're seeing it already. And then the 4th trend is flexibility. Now, that might be a confusing one to think about, but flexibility is, you could be seeing it in your workplace or in a friend's workplace, about how some go into work and then they work at home part-time. So there's the flex time between at the office or at home. Some businesses can do that, others just can't. Flexibility also can be seen, or starting to be seen or considered, if you're a business owner, in the type of packages that you offer as compensation. No longer will everyone be focused on the simple bottom line dollar that they're being paid. Are there other things that can be put in the compensation plan that is more intriguing or appealing to the workforce? Perhaps it's more time off. Perhaps it's a membership to Costco. Perhaps it's a gym membership. Flexibility is the name of the game, but it goes 2 ways. Employers who have that flexibility built in will be appreciated by their employees. Employees, those of you who excel under that flexibility, you will be valued by your employers and compensated accordingly and appreciated accordingly. So those are the 4 trends that I'm going to share with you today. We've got rise of women, technology, security, and flexibility. As we move forward towards 2024, keep all of that in the back of your head, and make decisions accordingly, make decisions smartly to take advantage of those trends and move your business those directions or your life those directions. So now that you have some predictability of forecasting of what lies ahead, I want you to be fascinated by the way it plays out. Remember, I talked about frustration? A lot of times our own frustration is brought on by ourselves. Frustration of trying to control everything. Remember, I talked about the study where the test subjects didn't have that sense of control. We all want to have control in our life, but oftentimes we can't. And the more we try to control, the harder things become. So just be fascinated, and that frustration will start to melt away. Let go of the things that you cannot control. You can't control certain things in your life. You can't control the economy. The only thing that you can control is you. So surrender that which you can't control, and then take decided action on what you can control. So that's my big message today. Now, one of the things that I love to do with my clients is really empower them so that they can make the best choices for their lives. And if you haven't claimed your 4 free ebooks and the 7-minute guided meditation to just center yourself, and I'll tell you, I have gotten such fantastic feedback on that meditation. People are saying that just in the middle of the day, they'll take that 6 minutes and just bring themselves back into focus, please take advantage of getting those 4 ebooks that take you through your charts that you can get on my website. The links are right in the ebooks, and take advantage of that meditation. Put it on your phone or put it on your computer, and when you have that 5 minutes, just go ahead and play it. Because truly, who is in control of your life? The answer is you are. But sometimes I know we feel out of control. Sometimes I know we're frustrated, we worry, we have fear. But my role is to help turn all of that into fascination, wonder, and faith. It is time to register for the December 11th summit. This is all about 2022. So I talked about in 2019 when I was talking about the big event that was going to be, or big thing that was going to be affecting us in 2020, which turned out to be COVID. Well, I have my summit again coming up December 11th. It is going to be recorded, so anyone who is registered, you will get the recording of it. It's 3.5 to 4 hours long on a Saturday from 11 to roughly 3 o'clock. Sometimes we end a little bit earlier than that, but I want to make sure you have the time allocated. But the recording is really so you can go back and listen to the things you didn't understand, or if you can't take part in it live, you can go back and watch it. You get a workbook, you get your own personal chart, and I take you through how the year is going to look globally, at the United States level. Sometimes I even talk about what's going on with politics and our president and vice president. We talk about you personally, how you're going to be affected in 2022 so that you can make better choices for your year ahead. All you need to do is go to amytheisen.com. If you want to go right to that page to get more information, it's 2022-summit. I hope you will join me. It's going to be a fantastic morning and early afternoon of lots of information, like always. And Tanya and Sarah, great to have you on here. If you are watching me live now, go ahead and comment, or if you're watching the recording, I'd love to hear from you. Or if you enjoyed this video, learned something, took something away, even a little piece of something, I would love to hear what spoke to you. And if you have a question about your life or just want to get some insight to yourself personally, just send me a message or send a comment on here, and I'd be happy to likely answer it the next time I am live. I'm taking next week off, so I'll see you after Thanksgiving. I believe that's December 1st. Can you believe it? So thanks you guys for watching. I look forward to seeing you soon, and have a wonderful Thanksgiving and a wonderful rest of your week. Bye-bye.